What's up, Internet? Cory Zamir here, collecting with Cory. It is time to look at what I got from, well, my friend Ted from his friend Jeff. Let's go. Alright guys, first up, I'm going to go through, it's funny, I'm going to lead with some NES boxes, and then an NES game, I guess. This one was literally just a throw-in because of the condition. Metroid in the worst shape. If I had the appropriate cartridge for this, I could actually make it at least in box, but I have the yellow cartridge, which goes with the other box, so where to put stuff. Next up is another game that I don't have for the box. Yoshi. Thought I had it, I don't, but when I do find it, I will have it in the box at the very least. It's one of those games that I think because of this next one, Yoshi's Cookie, I always assume I have. I know I have Yoshi's Cookie. I'm looking at it right now. So now I have that in the box. No manual. Some of these have manuals. A lot of them don't. Next up we have Conflict. Box is a little bit jacked up on the top there. This one, I believe, has the manual. Yes, it does. So now I have this game complete in the box. Chess Master. This is one I could have sworn I had in the box, but I apparently don't. This one has some registration card in it, but no manual. So, in box. Definitely getting very close to the ceiling as far as stacking up NES games in the box to the ceiling. So, we're almost there. Next up, I got the box for Pinball Quest. Box and manual. That is. So that's a complete copy of Pinball Quest. Another game I actually don't have, oddly enough, Hatris. But when I do get the game, I will have it complete in the box. So I guess I'll add that to my wish list. Given any NES game I don't have is technically already on my wish list, but I like to put some on there to actually be looking for, and needing it to make a complete copy is a good reason to pick it up, you know? Next up, probably one of the better NES games I could have complete in the box, but I am missing the manual, Double Dragon. I was mistaken. I thought this would like complete my trilogy as far as complete in box or in box NES games, and I was actually thinking of Castlevania. I need the first Castlevania box, and then I have that trilogy all set. I'm actually missing number 2 also for Double Dragon. And the last game for the NES, or box and game, I guess. This one is missing the manual, but actually has the cartridge in there. Oh, there's actually another one that I'm saving for after this, I guess. King's Quest V. Looks like a dungeon crawling RPG of some sort. Not very familiar with the King's Quest series. I believe it was mainly on PC, but now I have it in the box. So it's a game that's actually added to the collection for the NES, because I didn't have it before. And probably the best box that I've picked up for the NES in a little while. Well, not best condition. The top is a little jacked up. DARKWING motherfucking duck. Like I said, a little jacked up on the top, but I'll get that game in to this box and get a box protector on it, and it will look great on my shelf. Also kind of a throw-in, a manual for Wizardry 6. Nope, just Wizardry. Why did I think this was Wizardry 6? Is there 6 Wizardry games? Why do I keep saying Wizardry? Let's stop. Now the rest of this, actually, the way I have this phone angled, you can't even see. I'm rocking a Sega Genesis shirt. I'm sitting in front of my Sega Genesis stuff. or my Sega stuff in general, actually. And as we can see, I'm running out of space. I'm actually going to have to kick my PS1 long boxes off of the shelf after this video, because I'm going to have pretty much a full shelf of Sega stuff. Because let's just get into it. For the Sega Game Gear, I now have a complete in-box copy of X-Men, which is pretty cool. Very nice shape. One of the few Game Gear games I have complete in the box. It's now 5 of them. For the 32X, I got Doom, and you're probably like, but didn't you get Doom already? And it's just like, yeah, but I think I pointed out in the video where I got Doom. Like, as we can see, this is in a clamshell case. 32X games didn't come like that. They came in the boxes like this. So someone that had this decided to take this box and cut it into the shape of the clamshell, and you can really see on the back like how it's, oh, I'm about to drop the game, how it's not as it should be. Like, they definitely did I guess they did an okay job, but I really wish they hadn't done it in the first place. So now I have a technically extra copy of Doom complete in the box, but it's a clamshell, so I don't really know who else is going to want that. I only bought it for $1, so now I've replaced it with a better actual copy of Doom. And this one has the manual too, so it's complete. So I'll actually just slide that in there. Alright, now I guess I'll show this next game. It's one of the bigger games in this pickup, but it kind of goes along with the 32X, and it's the rest of the games after this are all Sega Genesis. Decided to pick up, and I almost didn't pick this up because Ted almost didn't offer it to me. He was just going to get rid of it himself on eBay. Night Trap for the Sega CD 32X. I guess this is the enhanced version of the game. Let's see. It doesn't say why it's enhanced. Oh, Night Trap, the groundbreaking CD-ROM that started the interactive video revolution, is back. Night Trap makes you the most important character in a real movie with real actors, not computer-generated cartoon characters. Now it looks better than ever on 32X. So I was actually interested in how this worked out, because I've seen Sega CD 32X games in the past, and I never had these growing up. It's actually, there's no 32X cartridge, it just uses the extra, I guess, 32 bits of power to increase, like, the game, the graphics, the way it plays, I don't know. It's 2 CDs, though. Very nice shape on the box, and the CDs are actually in really nice shape too. So I'm going to be adding this to the collection. I always thought if I got Night Trap, I would get the Sega CD version, but I guess this is technically better. I just have to actually hook up my 32X to the contraption and have like 15 power cords going to get it to work, but whatever. Alright. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Sega Genesis games to go through. I'm going to try and do them in a good order that leaves the best for last, but let's pick out the first one here. And not all of these are complete. For the Sega Genesis in general, if it doesn't have the manual, I'm not going to sweat it. As long as it has the clamshell or the box, I guess, I'm cool. This one was apparently a rental special. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And it's one of those games, I'm noticing a trend with Genesis games, like when you look at the back, the screenshots they provide you don't really do anything because they're terrible quality screenshots. So I have no idea. It looks like kind of a Castlevania-esque side-scroller, but I don't know for sure. Next up, we have Tasmania. Pretty sure I've had this in my collection in the past. Decided to pick it up because I don't currently have it. It's whatever. I'm pretty sure I rented this back in the day and I was not happy with it, but, you know. Taz was always a cool Looney Tunes character, so I guess I'll keep his game in my collection for a little while. Next up, we have Dragon's Revenge. Another one of those random games, just like they have on the Game Gear, like Devilish, and the TurboGrafx, like the Alien Crush Demon Crush games that, like, based on the title alone, you wouldn't know it's a pinball game, but that's exactly what it is. No manual, but in pretty nice shape. Next up, we have Gods, a game I've had on the Super Nintendo in the past and got rid of because it was worth a little bit more than I was expecting, and I had never heard of it, so I had no intention of keeping it. Now that I'm looking at it on the back, it looks like it's some kind of side-scroller, but like I said, terrible quality screenshots, so you can't really tell what's going on. Could be fun, though. Who knows? Let me know in the comments below if you like Gods on the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo. Next up, we have Lemmings, which is unfortunate that the label on the actual cartridge is a little bit damaged. Looks like it had some kind of sticker on it. No manual, but have a Lemmings game finally. I don't think I have any other Lemmings games. I used to see these Lemmings games in video game magazines all the time and never played any of them, so maybe it's fun. Who knows? Next up, we have another game I've had in my Sega Genesis collection in the past and gotten rid of. And this one was because it actually is just a really bad game. Toxic Crusaders on the Sega Genesis. Missing the manual. I felt like picking up some games, guys. Like, even if I'm not going to be the happiest with them, like, I do like Toxic Crusaders in general, just not the games that they put out. Like, the NES game and the Sega Genesis game both suck so bad. So bad. Next up, another game that sucks so bad, but is super complete. It even has the poster. Beavis and Butthead for the Sega Genesis. Complete poster is basically just a poster of both of their heads on it. It's, you know, pretty basic. But nice shape on pretty much all of these, except for the ones I pointed out. Next 4 games are actually really good ones that I'm very happy to have in my collection. One thing that's unfortunate about this pickup is there could have been a Castlevania Bloodlines, but our friend Rob wanted it more. So, he got that. Otherwise, I would have had Castlevania Bloodlines in my collection finally. It would have been the boxed version, which I believe was the re-release, not the clamshell. So I guess there's that to make me feel a little bit better, but that was definitely the first thing I noticed in the picture when Ted sent me. It was the Castlevania Bloodline. I was like, you know? But, like I said, the 4 games that remain, no slouch whatsoever. This one I actually already have on the Super Nintendo, but I always thought it would be cool to have it complete in the box, and I don't have it complete in the box on the Super Nintendo, so. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Like I said, complete, nice shape. Some of these are missing their hang tabs, but at this point, like, that's almost a benefit. Hang tabs kind of get in the way sometimes, depending on how your shelving works out. Next up is a game I believe I already have on the Super Nintendo also. Battletoads Double Dragon. Wish I had it on the NES, very expensive game. Or at least moderately expensive. Complete, nice shape. There were actually 2 of these in the lot. I don't know, I wasn't really looking for recoupers. I was just looking for stuff for the collection. If I were buying everything, I would have been stuck with a whole bunch of sports titles that I wouldn't have really been able to do much with. And aside from stuff that I actually am keeping for my collection, there wouldn't have been that much meat on the bone if I had picked up everything, so. No recoupers in this. Like, this is all stuff that's just going into my collection, and I am feeling fucking broke because of it. Let me tell you. We had totaled this up to be about, and I still have 2 more games to show you. I'm just thinking about this now, because I haven't even mentioned the price on this. We had totaled this up to be about $470-ish worth of stuff. Ted uses price charting. I use eBay. We were going off price charting, so, you know, variation there. I'm not really sure in which direction, but I only paid $250, so. Either way, unless price charting was violently off on some of the prices, it's still a really, really good deal, especially for a whole bunch of stuff I intend to keep. Bad timing that it's around Christmas time, but I put it on PayPal credit, and I'll pay it off with recoupers eventually. Just Unfortunately, no recoupers in this actual lot. Now, the last two games completes... I don't even know if you can call it a trilogy, because the first game was on the Master System. Phantasy Star 2, as we can see back here, I already have and have had Phantasy Star 3 for a pretty long time now. Probably 2 years. I guess if you can call that a long time. This is complete. Comes with the manual. I believe he said the manual is in 2 pieces. Let's take a look. Might as well. Oh yeah. So you got half the map. Did I say the manual was in 2 pieces? I meant the map. And then you got the remainder. I guess it got cut down the middle. Not exactly made out of the best paper here, but it's there. The Phantasy Star 2 ground map, as they call it. And it also came with, and a lot of people are probably about to type in the comments section, oh, it's not complete unless you have the hint book. Yes, that's right. For Phantasy Star 2, for some reason, I guess they thought we needed it, they decided to come out with a 114-page hint book that I'm pretty sure I've heard like walks you through like the first couple hours of the game. It says your adventures would be very difficult without this guide. It includes maps of all the towns and mazes in Phantasy Star 2. Study it carefully as you pursue your quest. Go forth in strength and honor brave adventure. So very cool to have this. I do wish they had made it small enough to fit in the clamshell, but it's actually too big. Probably just going to put it on the shelf right next to it, because I don't really want to get it mixed in with all my other strategy guides, because this is a really small book. And the last game, which you can probably infer from what I was saying before, that I've completed a trilogy, which is, I don't know, 2, 3, 4. 4! Phantasy Star 4. I try so hard to say the names right because I always want to say Final Fantasy whenever I start saying fantasy. Box obviously could be in better shape. I might actually look into getting, like I feel like with these Genesis games, I can probably just replace this inner box with the box from a different game, like a shittier game or whatever, because this part, the part that's actually related to Phantasy Star, is in really nice shape. It's just this generic Sega Genesis inner box part that's fucked up. So I might actually just swap it out for another one that I have in good condition, which I don't have that many. Something like Vector Man 2. Like, fuck Vector Man. I hate Vector Man. I don't even know why it's in my collection. And again, that one's not in great shape either. But that is going to do it for this pickup. Let me know what you've been able to pick up lately. There might be more to come via Ted from his friend Jeff. So I will go even more broke collecting as it is. But I look forward to it. Might have some Super Nintendo stuff. I don't remember what else he said. I know he said Atari Jaguar, but I don't give a fuck about that. So I'm really blanking. I think he also had a whole bunch of Nintendo Powers. And I forget what other magazine he said. Nintendo Powers, Game Pros maybe? I don't know. But like the video, subscribe if you're new. Go check me out on Patreon. I'd really appreciate your support. Helps the channel out. Big shout out to Todderbert for your continued support. The best Patreon subscriber of all time, I might add. And as always, keep it real, Internet. My legs are asleep.